This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. It's another great episode of First in Fantasy. You see the face, you know the case. It's your boy LQ. And of course, I'm joined here by my co-host, Duce.
What's up? What's up? Well, glad to be back, man. Glad to be back.
And before we get into some fantasy football advice, some trade talk, some drama that's going on in the NFL, I want to dive into a topic that is just as important. Winning your fantasy leagues are important to me, but also there comes decision making. If you ever feel like the toughest battles aren't just on the field or in your lineup decision making, sometimes it's facing the everyday stuff, the things we can't always see coming. Whether it's stress, anxiety, or just everyday challenges that life throws at us, therapy can help you work through all this. I know we all spend a lot of time analyzing our players, building our perfect lineups, but what about when it comes to taking care of ourselves? Therapy helps you learn positive coping skills, set healthy boundaries, and honestly, it just helps you be the best version of yourself. And you don't have to go on through some type of major trauma to benefit from it. If you've been thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's completely online, so it fits your schedule, whether you're managing your fantasy team or real life responsibilities. All you need to do is fill out a short questionnaire, get matched with the licensed therapist, and if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time, no additional charge. So why not take the first step towards feeling better? Visit betterhelp.com/downmoney today to get 10% off on your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/downmoney. So let's get into the content. Do say,
Yo,
Mr.
what's up?
Alonzo,
What's
we
going
have a
on?
lot to cover for week
We
7.
sure do.
But let's jump into this Eagles game, man. Did you see the Eagles get the Bat family back together?
Yes,
Devontae Smith
it's
and
Gotham is
AJ Brown.
back. Gotham is back.
Gotham is back. I like that.
Yeah,
But it kind of struggled against this Browns team, and it's a little weird to see the Browns being competitive, being that they are completely blown up right now.
right. I mean, as bad as the Browns is, they always got a solid defense. Miles Garrett is no joke, and just the secondary gave them a little bit fits and problems. But as you saw, it's a grindy game. The Eagles thankfully came out on top, but the Browns kept it close. But it shouldn't have been that close, honestly.
No, for real. I was just happy to put AJ Brown and Devontae
Hmm.
Smith in my lineups across all of my leagues. I mean, I've been hurting at that wide receiver position. And, Dallas Goddard, inactive, he
It's
was hurt with a
unfortunate.
groin injury or hamstring injury. One of those situations where he was out, where he was just basically putting the team on his back, those couple of weeks with Smith and Brown out.
Right.
So I definitely feel as though this team is still not fully completed together. So when Dallas Goddard comes back, I think that brings in a nice little distraction in the middle of the field. But it was great to see those guys back in starting lineup. So if people are going to be going out there on the waiver wire, you don't have to search far because the Bat family is
Yep.
back in town.
Exactly. Getting your money's worth. And just going and touching back on the Goddard thing, it's just this year for tight ends, it's so strange. Tight ends not performing,
True.
tight ends getting injured. It's just it's a long list.
The fantasy streets are hurting at the tight end position. But
Mhm.
thankfully, we have rookies like Brock Bowers out there
Yes,
balling
sir.
over there in Vegas. And, George Kittle, he's showing up big in the fantasy line. Travis Kelsey last week finally showed some life. So the fantasy
Mark
streets
Andrews.
aren't as down bad as they were the first couple of weeks.
Right, right. That is true. Glad to see Mark Andrews is back,
Yeah.
but we'll see if Isaiah Likely.
Mark Andrews.
mm, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But the thing is with Mark Andrews, he's still not playing more snaps than Isaiah Likely. Like, I was happy to see him find the end zone last
Hmm.
week, but the dude only had 3 catches.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the yards are starting to increase. The snaps aren't increasing. The catches aren't increasing. So he's going to be very touchdown dependent, which I do not like.
I hate players like that. Just touchdown dependency is just it's just so hit and miss. I don't like the risk. I rather trade them and find somebody more valuable.
No, absolutely. I agree. But, we touched on the Eagles and they're barely win, but Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts, they're all a powerhouse fantasy options. Those are clearly start and forgets. I wouldn't be sitting any of those guys anytime soon. But like I said, with Dallas Goedert, dealing with injury, the Bat family isn't completely back together. I don't know which Batman he would honestly be though. Would he be chubby Batman? I guess I don't know.
Ooh, there's actually a new version. I think he's a new version called Absolute Batman. That's yeah. Look him up.
Absolute Batman.
Absolute. Absolute.
I think I know. I think I know where that's from. I think I've actually come across that comic.
Okay.
But we getting all nerded out here.
Right.
But
Let's
let's get
let's
back into the football, man.
right.
Back into the football. Jeez. Oh man, but more or less, like when we're looking at week 7, like we are honestly flying by
Mhm.
right now with the fantasy season halfway over. And I feel like these waiver wire decisions are becoming more and more important. Like I really feel like we have to go out there and get some of these guys that are going to be on our rosters for a very long time, because I don't want to keep switching in and out these guys. Like I just picked up your guy, Jalen Warren, off the waiver wire, which I was highly surprised that he was out there. But
Right.
sheesh. I mean, like any other, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks that you have on your mind for the waiver wire for week 7.
Honestly, I want to talk about Bud Means over in New Orleans. There's
Oh,
a ton of
yeah.
potential with him. He he does more than just a 9 route. He can do everything, and he's going to be a great plug and play for this Thursday night football game because Chris Olave is out. Rashid Shaheed might not play. It's He's going to get a lot of targets, and I expect him to have a really good game and show out. It could be a breakout game for him.
No, I did like what I saw last week, with Spencer Rattler at the quarterback
Right.
position, which he might be there for the next month or so for Derek Carr, who's dealing with a oblique injury. But Bud Means, man, I had to look up and make sure he was a real person because
Right.
I did not understand like his name, like Means, like Bub Means, like this
Bud
is a
Means
real
that is a
person.
name. That is a name.
Yes, Bubmeans, people. He's a rookie that plays for the Saints coming out of Pittsburgh. Listen, I honestly like his game because you got to understand with Spencer Rattler being the backup, they spent a lot of time during camp together doing this catch and pitch stuff. And we saw that last week with momentum. Like Bub Means was tied with Alvin Kamara at leading the team in targets with eight
Yeah,
targets. So
man.
this isn't anything light that I think, for Bub Means. Like found the end zone as well. So he found some fantasy relevance, putting up 15.5 fantasy points. So I think this Thursday night, a lot is going to be on his plate, but you're going to bank on volume and the chemistry he has with Spencer Rattler.
Right, right. I mean, hey, rookie on rookie action. Like they got
There
chemistry,
you go.
they got chemistry already.
I'm gonna say pause. I'm gonna just say pause just because.
Hey, man,
So,
it's okay.
just so
It's
people miss.
okay. Call. You can say pause. I'm gonna press play, and we're
We
gonna continue with the next waiver wire pickup. My boy Sean Tucker out of Syracuse, second
Mhm.
year running back. He showed out. Seen the potential before. He has home run speed. He's a PPR monster. He has hands, and he's showing off the run skills too. I don't know. It's kind of scary
Yeah.
for Bucky Irvin.
Oh, I wouldn't even think that Bucky Irvin's in trouble. It's really Rashad White, the starting running back.
Is
Like
he?
Sean Tucker went out there and showed that he could be efficient and put up big yards. I
Right.
mean, 9.7 yards per carry, 136
Mm-hmm.
yards on 14 carries,
Yep.
and he found the end zone.
Yes.
Boy, boy, oh boy. I don't know if you can look at Rashad White and confidently put him in because but I mean, like Sean Tucker looked like one of the best in between the tackle runners and people that's inside the tackles. That's out like outside is with the left and right, right tackles. Inside is between the guards and the center. And he's one of the best right now in the league. And Rashad White struggles in that area,
Yeah.
like in a huge area that matters when you have the Bucks that run a lot in between the tackles. So it's not really Bucky Irvin for me, though. Like it's more so of like Rashad White is in huge trouble with Bucky Irvin performing the way he's performing
Right.
because he's showing up and showing out as well.
Hey man, it's running back by committee, and honestly, Rashad White going to be number 3 at this point. And honestly, Sean Tucker and Bucky Irvin, they kind of remind me of the combo Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara when he was young.
Alvin
If you
Kamara.
think about it, it's a lot of similarities there. Rashad White is going to be the
Oh, a
odd man
lot.
out.
Yeah, and look, Rashad White is still a running back that could be serviceable. Like
Right.
I'm not going to completely tank on him because there's times where him and Bucky Irvin, they shared the same stat line before Rashad White went out with injury, and I feel like more so you're looking at Bucky Irvin as the guy that change of pace, the guy that can
Hmm.
really run outside the tackle. Sean Tucker will be your on the ground running back with some PPR upside too, because he actually had 3 targets, 3 catches for 55 yards. That
Yes,
ain't nothing light.
not at all. That's moving the chains. That's what he does. Like
Yeah. So
when it comes to Sean
go
Tucker,
ahead.
yeah, when it comes to Sean Tucker, he had that home run threat ability when he's catching passes out the backfield. He take it to the house. Like he has that speed. So that's why I'm saying like
Yeah.
he has more value than Rashad White, whatever.
Honestly, my fear though for people on the waiver wire this week, like I understand Sean Tucker becomes a guy that you're going to add off the waiver wire, but until I see Rashad White healthy and I see Bucky Irvin and Sean Tucker all in rotation in this backfield healthy, I don't know if Sean Tucker actually has the snap
Mm,
opportunity to get on the field because I think a lot of people are expecting right now production
right.
being that, you know, Rashad White is injured, but Rashad White eventually is going to get healthy to where he's going to be able to play and perform. And I understand Bucky Irvin, his RB2 role is solid, but for you, Zoe, are you going out there spending a bunch of fab? Fab is basically, you know,
Mm,
fantasy cash money, you know,
yeah,
out there to get on the waiver wire with budgets.
I'm not spending more than $5 on Sean Tucker. It's
$5.
more than $5 because it's too much
You might as
risk.
well not even
It's
bid.
too much risk on it, and still having Bucky Irving there. Rashad White comes back. I don't like the running back by committee type of deal. So get him while you can. Get him for cheap. Not don't spend the bank.
No, I definitely agree. I'm not dropping the bag on Sean Tucker because right now my personal situation, I'm not really, you know, out there needing a
Hmm.
running back. Like I drafted running backs very well in my opinion for the most part, and they're healthy. You know, like I'm really getting hurt by the wide receiver and tight ends. Like I really feel like this is what's keeping my team from being undefeated. Like I'm 2-4 some leagues, 4-2, 3-3. Like it's really nasty out here across multiple leagues
Right.
where you're dealing with wide receiver and tight end issues.
Yeah. Honestly, there's especially tight ends. It's scary out there because who do you go to? But if you need a running back, definitely go for Sean Tucker. He's serviceable. I will, plug and play. Especially with Rashad White being injured, so he definitely has value. But breaking the bank from him, nah. Wide receivers definitely Bud Means is the top of the list in my opinion. Is there anyone else you have?
Yeah, there's a sleeper I got actually this week at the tight end position, and it's Kate Otten going
Ooh,
against the Ravens. And a lot of people are still fearful of this Ravens defense just based on what they used to be. But this is not the same Ravens defense. You're still able to get some production
mm-hmm.
out of your tight ends and wide receivers on this defense. Like, no, you cannot run the ball on them, but you can pass on them. And right now, the Ravens defense, they're allowing the most catches and the most receiving yards to tight ends right now after 6 weeks of football. But they have not let a tight end fall into the end zone. And I think Kate Otten, these last couple of weeks, he's been earning his targets. A lot of targets been coming his way on a targets per route basis. Like there's been a consistent growth in his production with Baker Mayfield as the weeks have gone on. So he's my sleeper this week. I don't know if you are having Kate Otten on your radar, man, but I know we face each other this week in fantasy. So don't get any
Listen,
ideas. Like I'm not giving you advice.
I don't need your advice. I'm gonna stick with my man Kyle Pitts and boomer bust. Let's go. But
Boomer bust
Kate
is
Otten is a
the perfect
great,
word for him.
great pick because that Buccaneers offense, they putting up numbers, they putting up stat lines. Mike Evans doing
51
his
points.
thing, Chris Godwin's coming back, Baker Mayfield is just consistent. Like I'm liking Bucks. I'm liking the Bucks.
Yeah, Kate Otten right now on the waiver wire across most redraft leagues is at a 41% roster share. 41%.
Hmm,
That's less than half of leagues that you can go out there and get him. He's probably available to you. Like I said, production has been growing with him. I mean, he's a tight end that's on the field for 90% of the snaps. This guy's not coming off the field. This is not a Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely
right.
situation where you're sharing snaps. One's on the field, one is off. No, it's literally Kate Otten as the tight end one for the Bucks. And like I said, you can get some great production out of this Ravens defense from the tight end position.
Amen. Well said. Well said. Um,
Yes,
I
sir.
do wanna before we continue. I don't know why the Ravens got this scary defense. They lost to the Raiders. Let's be real. Like they're not that scary.
That is true.
They are
A lot
beatable.
of people forget that.
They are beatable. So cool the
Yeah.
Jets.
You just need to have the right game plan.
Right.
And I think more so the closest I would say, in my opinion, to beat them has to be Jaden Daniels. I know the game got
That was
away
a good
from him,
game.
but you cannot control the defense. Commanders defense, they're not bad. They're not sorry, but they're just not great right now. And like I feel as though Jaden Daniels, if he gets another crack at that Ravens defense, I think he might light him up.
Right, absolutely. I wish the Commanders still had Chase Young. I think that's all they needed, just pressure Lamar Jackson.
Mm.
However, he's with San Francisco, and Commanders didn't do that great to stop Lamar. So it is what it is. It was a great game, though.
Chase Young is actually on the Saints, by the way. Saints.
Hey,
Yeah, he got it.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
was wrong.
He
I was
made
wrong.
his way to New Orleans,
Nola.
to the NOLA,
Okay, okay.
where the good food is at.
As long as he's not eating like Zion Williamson. But enough said about that.
Nah, but
Mm,
there's some news over there in Pittsburgh. You guys are making a quarterback change at 4-2.
yes, sir.
What in the world could possibly be going on with Mike Tomlin to say, let's make a quarterback change? Even though Justin Fields has probably been playing
Really
his
good.
best football to date. But I'm curious of what your take is on.
So I'm glad you allowed me to have the floor with this because I've been tapped into
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
please.
media and everything. It's kind of as simple as Mike Tomlin named Russell Wilson the captain, and the captain's healthy. Like, let's see what we got in Russell Wilson. Yes, Justin Fields showed out. He's been phenomenal, in my opinion. There's gripes here and there as far as reading the field, but he's using his legs to make plays, extending plays, which worries me with Russell that if he still has that. But he's not
Yeah.
seeing the field. Calvin Austin has been open a lot, so has Pat Fryermuth. If Russell Wilson gets in there and the passing game steps up, I'm all here for it. If Russell Wilson struggles, give it back to Justin Fields. We're not hurting right now. We're 4-2, like you said, and let's see, it's only going to be progressing. And Mike Tomlin knows what he's doing.
I'm actually surprised you took this stance because I thought you were going to be like the rest of fantasy Twitter of wanting Justin Fields to stay in
Right.
because honestly, I think you give him one more shot, but I understand wanting Russell Wilson in to open up this offense. Because if we look at this offense as a whole, if we look at it from all 32 teams, you guys are at bottom of the table in
Mm-hmm.
most of the major
Right.
categories. Like he's not scoring passing
He's
touchdowns. Like
not.
he's bottom of the table outside the top 25. You guys on a passing yards per basis outside the top 25. When you look at he has 6 fumbles,
Mm-hmm.
only one loss, but 6 fumbles is opportunity to give the defense to turn the ball over.
Right.
This is something that I can tell Mike Tomlin has had on his mind because I said if you guys went out there last week and lost, yeah, Justin Fields is getting benched
Exactly.
because that would have been 3 games in a row.
Mm-hmm. And just like bringing up
So
the Cowboys game, if Russell Wilson was back there, would we have won that game? We barely
yeah,
lost. Like so, it's a
barely.
lot of caveats that come with that. But Justin Fields, like he showed out. I'm very happy with what we have in him. Let's see what Russell Wilson brings to the table while it's still early. I'd rather make this change in October than November, December. And
Nah, yeah.
if it works out with Russell Wilson, let's let him work. Let Justin Fields take the mentorship and learn how to read a field and learn the progressions from Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson leads the team. If Russell Wilson struggles, we have no problem getting Justin Fields back in there with fresh legs again. He could take a break.
Yeah. No, I agree because honestly, I look at this offense and they're not really a deep threat offense where you have George Pickens. That's where his bread and butter is
Right.
when it comes to contested catches. So you bring in Russell Wilson, who's already known in his entire career as one of the best passers of downfield throws. And I look at this offense, Justin Fields has only completed 6 of those passes out of 20. That is not
It's
healthy for
not.
this offense to try to make the big plays. And for fantasy, George Pickens gets a boost. Russell Wilson is known for check downs out of this world. So right now, Najee Harris did not practice today at the time of recording with a rib injury. So it might be Jalen Warren's season because we know how explosive he is out of that backfield as a runner and as a pass catcher. So this is all good things pointing north for these fantasy options on this Chargers offense. So I'm not mad at it. I think the only people that are mad about this benching is all the people that have Justin Fields as their fantasy quarterback one. And there's nobody available on the waiver wire right now at this point in the season that are worth picking up to replace that type of upside that Justin Fields brings, being a mobile quarterback.
Hey, I mean, maybe Bo Nix or Spencer Rattler's out there for him, but
Bo
you
Nix.
know the risk that comes with Justin Fields. You know the situation. How do you not know? But it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Real quick before we get into the next segment, Bo Nix is a sleeper this week as
Oh, I
well
know.
with a tough matchup on Thursday Night Football. But if you look at Bo Nix these last 2 weeks,
Showing out.
he has had back-to-back games of 20 plus fantasy points, and a lot of that is coming from the production in the red zone and his legs, because he's actually getting mobile out there with this O-line, a little shaky at times, but he's extending the plays. So he's definitely somebody you should have on your radar. In the last 3 weeks, 100% of the Broncos' touchdowns have come from his
Yep.
hands. So Bo Nix is a sleeper for Thursday Night Football. Remember, I said that.
Hey, hot take. 3 touchdowns for Bo Nix. I'm telling you, and the Broncos are probably going to win.
Whoa. Wow, that just gave me some stress. But
Hey, two
before we
passing,
get into the
two
final
passing, one
segment,
rushing.
yo, all right, you talking spicy right now. Okay.
Hmm.
I could dig
Burn my
that.
hands.
But you Birdman,
Yes, seriously.
Bo Nix, a fantasy sleeper for week 7. Book it. So let's get into this
Mm,
final segment where it's me versus you in our
Finally,
home league.
finally.
Finally, you just want to talk. That's all you
Absolutely.
want to do. You just want to talk the
Absolutely. I'm
trash.
5-1. You're 3-3. I've been waiting for this week. I had this circled. The week I'm gonna have to beat you and probably keep you out the playoffs. So yeah, let's here
That's
we go.
funny. But I want to say something before you get into your spiel. It's
Hmm.
crazy. Y'all thought I was dead after 0-2. Like y'all thought like I wasn't gonna go on a nice little run. Like I took an L because I'm
Mm,
3-3, but
yeah.
I came back and I'm alive and well. I am projected to actually beat you this week, even though I don't live off of
Who
projections.
does?
But I just look at my lineup and my lineup clears your lineup.
It does. Just like I was projected by multiple sites that my team is basura. I'm only going to win 4 games. I have 5. I'm 5-1. So yeah, enough said. Let's look at it. Let's look at the matchup here. Um, yeah, you're up by 6 points. You're up by 6 points, and honestly, that don't mean anything to me. I see you got Gibbs in there.
Do you see the
Who?
lineup though?
The Tracy. I like the Tracy pick. A little spicy, and
Oh, you don't know about Tyrone. You
I
better
don't.
call on
I
Tyrone.
don't. I don't. So I'm
Hmm.
glad that Malik Neighbors is actually looking like he's going to be playing this week. Now you got to deal with
Yeah.
him and Justin Jefferson. My running backs kind of matches up pretty nicely with yours in a sense that they're not stars, but they put in work. The only person I'm worried about
Mm,
is my boom and bust guy, Kyle Pitts. That is the guy.
mm, mm.
That is the guy.
And Sam Laporta. You acting like Sam Laporta been out here eating up the streets.
He had a
No,
50
he's
yard
been down.
touchdown last week.
Oh my God, in
And
garbage
your
time.
boy
And it was
Jared
against the
Goff
Cowboys.
is going to be looking at him when he goes against the rival Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to be a shootout. And yeah.
I highly doubt that you're gonna win this week, and I'm gonna just stamp it. I'm just gonna talk my trash now,
Mm,
and I talk fully confident. Your team just doesn't have enough. So when I go 4-3, you drop to five and
oh,
two, and then the following week I go up again, end up with 5 wins, and we're looking at the same record. I want you to keep that same energy
okay.
when it comes to playoff time.
Okay. So what happens when you
I'm,
when you
pro-
take
I'm
another L and that's 2 losses and you're 3-4 and I'm sitting
listen.
pretty at 6-2.
Look, I already know right now the weakest link on my roster this week is Kyler Murray
Yeah.
because this matchup against the
Black Ops?
Chargers.
Call of Duty's about to be out. That's hey, that's
Nah, we got another couple weeks for that.
no, he already has the release version.
I'm
He's
pretty
on
sure
a
he does
sponsorship.
actually.
He's has a sponsorship with Call of Duty. He's playing already.
He definitely shouted out the trolls saying thank you for trolling me into a bag,
Right.
which is such a baller move right there.
But no Marvin Harrison
Oh my
Jr.
god.
Deutschland is all he has.
Hey, we're not going to talk about Deutschland, man. I
No.
already went on the NFL Fantasy podcast and we had our service, and the
Hmm.
bulldozer pulled up to Deutschland. I'm not
And
quite sure if it's still there.
I
Not
mean,
quite sure.
I guess it's just him and Trey McBride. I don't know. It doesn't look too good for them, and the Chargers is a rough matchup. So good luck. Good
Yeah,
luck.
yeah, yeah. But this has been real. Like I can't wait to see the results of this week's matchup between me and you in the cutthroat season down money league. So I really feel as though at the end of the day my team is better. Good luck to you, kind sir. We shall return back next week
Hmm.
with the results, and I'm pretty sure I'm
Hmm.
going to be happy.
We'll see about that. We'll see, bro.
Well, this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Make sure you guys use the promo code DownMoney to get 10% off your first month. But this has been another great episode of First in Fantasy. It's your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ. You see the face, you know the case. And Duce,
Deuce,
where can they
Deuce.
find you at,
You
brother?
can find me at Duce, not Deuce, on Twitter, and MF_Duce on Instagram. Hit me up, please. I like to talk.
When you're talking real estate, you're talking money down. You're talking down money media. We'll see you guys again next week. Peace.